Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to another Dragon Ball SH Figuarts review. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the one and only Pan from GT and Gil, or GIRU, depending on what sort of translation you prefer, really. But this one just released in January, so I'm getting to it quite late. Actually, no, wait. I don't remember. I don't know. My concept of time is going out of the window at this point. But I'm very excited about this one because with Tamashii pretty much like doing all their tiny figures, especially with the diamond line, it seems that it looks fine. Although even from this picture alone, people have complained that she is a tad bit too short. But let's actually find out ourselves, even though it kind of does like she is too short. But yeah, let's just take her out and see how she looks. Alright, so here we have Pan, and I gotta say, there's a couple of decent things with her, but for the most part, she's not the most ingenuitive type of figure. And the reason for that is because she is super tiny. My god, she is tinier than in the promo pics. Actually, no, she's actually the same height. So, here I have a couple of figures. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen a lot of comparisons online and everything. But here is GT Trunks. Now, GT Trunks in itself is already out of scale. He's very short. He has really short legs. But here's GT Goku. She should be around the shoulders of Trunks, and then Trunks, of course, should be taller. Well, realistically, she shouldn't be that much taller. She should be slightly taller, but overall, her proportions are just tiny in general. I understand that this is a tiny figure, and that's the whole purpose of it, but it is tinier than it actually should be. The head itself is so small, especially compared to GT Kid Goku. Like, just look at the faces side to side. Just look how slim her face is compared to Kid Goku's. Now, I understand that the female characters in Dragon Ball have a different like facial structure and everything, but again, just another one to compare it with. She is tinier than Superhero Pan. Now, Superhero Pan was definitely kind of like their introduction at tiny bodies, and it's not the greatest. And she should be the same height as Anya, or at least around there. Actually, wait, that is a good question. Here's Anya. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Anya. Here's the Anya that I reviewed at the beginning of the year. Pretty much the first day of the year. And this figure is tiny. Realistically, it has all the right proportions. And I feel like they try to do that with Pan, GT Pan, but it didn't work. But I guess that's okay. Their line is not consistent when it comes to the heights, so I guess I'm not going to argue too much, but mostly because it's an annoyance, because a lot of times this is regarded, or Bandai is regarded as like, even they themselves call it like supermodeling with a very like close to accurate definitions and whatnot, so it's an annoyance for sure. So I did have to put her backpack on. For that, you have to take off the shoulder, which is not the worst thing, but it's fine. Her, in general, she looks fine. She's just super tiny. Like, again, it feels weird to hold her. There's a couple of things that I don't like, and the first big one is the cut on the pants. Just kind of looking at it, you can see there's a decent gap on here, and there's no drop-down hips. The hips themselves like actually work well, like they slim down pretty decently. It's just, I think the issue with it is that the ball pegs are not connected or like are not put in a proper place, and I don't want to break it either, so I'm just going to show you. They're not long enough, and I'm not saying that they should be longer. I'm just saying that they should be higher, because this is weird. Like, there's such weird cuts in this figure, and I'll get into it in a minute. GIRU is fine. He's a pure bare plastic with some paint applications. A nice little plastic eye. He moves his arms around. That's pretty much it. There's no ball picks, no nothing. Just swivels for the arms. So we'll put that guy on the side. When it comes to her articulation, she can look down about that far, which is pretty good. She cannot look up whatsoever because of her hair. She can look side to side. She has a ball hinge for a neck, which sucks. Arms can T-pose pretty decently. You can rotate them 360 degrees. Double jointed elbow, which is surprising. Actually, no, it's a single jointed elbow, which, if I can get the elbow working, great, awesome. So you can get it working. It's a single jointed elbow and a hinge wrist, of course. You do have a bicep swivel, if I can get it to work. And mostly because you do need to separate the actual bicep with it to use some of the accessories. Ab crunch, not the greatest. It's okay. It's actually pretty decent for the size of the figure. Going backwards, you'll have a little gap, but it works well. Legs, splits, not the greatest unless you get them inside of the actual part of the pants. So decently good splits, I guess. Kicking forward, pretty good actually. The kicking forward motion is good. It's just, look at that. That is insane. That's an insane gap for such a tiny figure. Such a tiny figure should not have this much of a gap. If it was like a 10 times the size figure with like cut out joints and everything, I would understand that, and drop down hips. But these hips are already dropped down, which is, first of all, it doesn't help her with the height, and second of all, it just looks bad. Kicking backwards, pretty good. Her buttocks is not hard plastic; it's pretty soft plastic, and again, it's dropped down pretty low. So that's how it's gonna look. Why? I don't get it. Thigh swivel, single jointed knee, and you get a sort of like a calf swivel as well. Foot hinge going forward that far, going backwards this far, which is pretty good, and a decent toe hinge actually, not bad. It's just they didn't paint the inside in here, so the only downside for that toe hinge. Pretty decent toe hinge. Okay articulation, definitely not outstanding. GT Kid Goku definitely poses better, I think. It has like the same arm mechanics as GT Kid Goku and like the other Daima characters, for sure. I don't know. This is a very perplexing type of figure. So let's look at her accessories to see if she comes with anything of value. Alright, so this is one of those instances where we can actually see the full figure with the accessories. And there are some good ones. There are some, actually, well, most of them are good in terms of the actual accessories. There is the DLC for GT Kid Goku, of course, as you can see. So let's actually bring him in the picture as well, because you can definitely see him too. So there he is. Very nice, very cool. So yeah, we have that, for him, smiling, pretty well sculpted. It actually really does capture the GT look very well. And that's something that they have been doing great with that line, is that GT Kid Goku is probably the second best, really, actually the third best, because we have Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Vegeta, and then this guy. Definitely on there. I'll probably do a tier list one day, once we get like more figures for it. For Pan herself, we have a smiling face with the mouth open. It just looks like she's kind of licking something, which is funny. A angry face with her probably shooting a ki blast, and a grunting face as well. I kind of like it when, well, it's a weird choice sometimes. You can see the eyebrows just kind of look a little bit different depending on what type of face she's making, which is good. She looks a lot like Chi-Chi and Videl in this one, so that's very nice. For the rest of the accessories, we do have a nice set of balls, ki balls or ki blasts on this side. Very well sculpted, very nicely done. They're attached to her hand, so you can't detach them, I think. No, you can actually. You can detach them. It's just they have an actual specific slot on there. So that's actually a really nice choice. We do have a set of ki blast shooting hands, of course. A set of grasping hands, or most likely fighting pose hands. and a set of cross arms. So this is how you're going to swap them out. Well, if you can focus. So you're going to swap them out by the arm extension, or the bicep. We have the hair piece of her with the hair flowing, of course. It should look something like this, realistically, I think. So you'll look at some of that in the pictures at the end. So overall, going into my final thoughts, this figure is not terrible. I just don't think it does anything well. Like, it's okay. It's middle of the road. So for that, I'm unfortunately going to have to give it a 6 out of 10. Very similar to Trunks. Trunks is middle of the road. He doesn't really have much going for him. Inaccurate heights. The GT line in itself is just so weird that they have such inaccuracies for the line. Like, yeah, you can't really make the biggest figures if you wanted to. Like, for example, grade 8 Vegeta, the SH Figuarts of him, he's huge, but he's not the actual height that he should be. He should be like not twice the size, but like at least 1.5 times the size. And I don't think it's the fault of the figure line. It's just I think Tamashii not really caring too much, and that's just me. I think sometimes they don't really care as much as they should, especially for this GT line. Like, they haven't announced anything GT related so far, and I understand we're still currently in the Daima sort of like honeymoon phase. So they just recently announced the figure that you guys probably already saw a video of. So then, yeah, now you know where I'm recording this. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. The accessories are fine. There definitely should have been a lot more accessories. I think there should have been 2 different types of GIRU, because we have just the regular basic GIRU, and I think they should have added an attack mode GIRU where you could probably, or even just detachable arms where you can have different poses for the arms and even the legs. Like, they could have done so much with GIRU, but GIRU pretty much gets absolutely nothing. He's treated as an accessory instead of its actual figure, which sucks because other characters like Chiaotzu, and even, who else had it? Someone else had it, I forgot. But characters like Chiaotzu and even, who was it that I just recently reviewed that had an extra additional little booger on their packaging? Who was it? I don't remember. I have my boxes somewhere here. I don't know who it was. But again, yeah, he's just treated as an actual accessory, which sucks. He's not being treated as his own figure. Again, it's just, there's a lot that they could have done with this figure in itself. Some of the choices for the articulation are weird, for sure. So, yeah, I think a 6 out of 10 is more than reasonable. And also because it's a Premium Bandai exclusive, and it's a $60 price tag, and it doesn't come with $60 worth of stuff, yada, yada, yada. That's my whole verdict. Now, if you are wanting to get this figure, it is pretty much widely available in Japanese retail sites like Hobby Genki and Nin Game. I believe Nin Game does still have it available for the most part. Not too sure about Hobby Genki, but I'm pretty sure they do, because I got her from Hobby Genki. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this figure. I'm extending this video for no reason whatsoever. There's going to be like 8 pictures total for this figure. But yeah, besides that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.